cast, hit the water, started to reel in, voila, a brand new lure. I've got leashes. That's beautiful now, isn't it? Yeah, so you can show us how to do it now. Come on Bob, you're the expert. Show us how to do it. We want pay up, Paul. That's it, that's how you do it. Hold it. Put it back down. Nice. This thing that it lifts now. You have to pick it up. I'm going to pick it up like this, never mind, we'll do it. What a start.
Cheers.
Cut already.
Stay rushing some of my dead baits are bigger than that.
Hey up and welcome to Last Cast. This morning you join us at Wykeham Lakes, about 5 miles outside of Scarborough. We're doing a little bit of a fishing this morning. There's about 6 of us here. And we've had one chap that's had one small jack pike, about £2, first cast on spinner. I've lost one at the net on my first cast as well. Another jack pike, probably about £3 or £4. And we've had one guy just in the next peg up. He's just had a drop to run as well. So it's looking quite lively. Stay tuned and who knows, we should have some, there's supposed to be some big fish in here. We might have a big one on the bank by the end of today. Ooh. Yeah.
In net.
Net. Donkey. George, just open his mirror hook in that. That's nice. The fish in half, is that Wally lad? That's a fat flipper, isn't it? Yeah. Show me where you're going, Wally there. Did you start at the top or not? Yeah. Yeah. Ah! Oh shit! Cut it there. Right. Yeah, mate. Bobble fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a towel. There we go.
That's the only trouble with it flying in.
Well, at least it's cold and I can't feel it. So I feel like it, please.
I thought we should go and check this thing. I thought I had me
Do it float?
Yeah.
I think that was further down.
Alright. Really fat, aren't they?
Yeah. The heads don't match the...
Yeah.
Right, shall we weigh it?
Yeah.
Dad, treble in his hand.
By now, it's not barbecue.
That's a slab, isn't it?
Got treble in and...
And they had.
Yeah, he had it.
Past Barb.
Not cracking.
So,
18 and a half with sling.
18 and a half.
Yeah.
Well, this is...
What did he weigh? Get a close up with it. You know what?
This is pike fishing for you. Hi, well my swim's gone a bit quiet and I just thought I'd talk about the fish that Wally caught earlier. Lovely fish, a bit of a strange shape. You can see they've got quite a big girth on them, obviously a protein type pike rather than the long slim pike. They're obviously feeding on trout in here, which is an high protein fish. Just wanted to touch on the hooking situation. Obviously Wally were trying his best obviously to try contain the fish, but it was trying to slip off his unhooking mat, and unfortunately he got one of the trebles into his fingers. And we've always talked about safety, and this is basically about your safety. You see that he used a pair of wire side cutters, and it's crucial that you take those kind of tools with you. Again, if you're on your own or you're with somebody else, if you hadn't have had those side cutters, it'd have been in a really difficult situation. So fantastic fish. We're just getting up towards midday now, so you know there's still potential for a few more fish on the bank, but just wanted to point that out while my swim were quiet. So yeah, just take care out there. Right, well it's gone quiet in my swim. I've not had any activity since that fish that I lost earlier. There's a chap down there, Brent. He's just had a really good run. I heard his bite alarm going off, but he didn't get the fish. So I think he obviously dropped his bait. It's gone a bit quiet really. There's a few people using different tactics and different baits. Some of the baits that are being used, I've got trout on mine, knowing that they've been feeding on trout. The next peg he's using roach down there, dead roach, and the guy that lost the fish earlier, he's on lamprey eel. So yeah, it's everyone's trying something a little bit different, but it's all gone a bit quiet. We're just waiting for the next phase of bites, if you like, and hopefully that'll be very soon. So we'll get back to you real short. Piker, come to report the catches. It's been a hard half hour over there, tried everything, not a thing. Roll on barbel season. I mentioned earlier that we'd come with five other anglers, including myself. Well, we've got our resident lure angler here with us. He's our expert, and I just want to have a quick chat with him about the things that he brings when he comes pike fishing, or lure fishing in this case. He's got a bucket full of lures here. I think some of them are handmade, and I'd be interested to know how you could kind of start and finish with one of those. And he's got some flies as well that I think he's going to talk to us about. I don't know anything about this type of fishing, and I think it'll be really good just to sort of get Andy's side of it really. So if we can just start with this bucket here then, Andy. Yeah. It's a cracking idea, by the way, nice and safe. We're always talking about treble hook safety, and I like the way you've sort of drilled the builder's bucket, and it's certainly a good way of keeping the trebles safe, and also the things that looks like you spent a lot of time making. Can you just talk us through, well, if I just pick one out, for example, maybe this one.
Yes.
To me, that looks like a big American lure. It looks like something you probably use for sea fishing. I'm obviously wrong. My first question would be, is that something that you'd fish maybe on a still water in this country, and have you had any success with it?
I fish it on canals.
Wow.
I fish it on rivers, and I fish it on still waters.
Right.
I've actually had pike as small as 4 pounds on that.
You can't believe it, can you?
And they've nearly swallowed it. You can't believe what they can actually fit in the mouths.
No. What size trebles are those, Andy?
They're size 3/0.
Right. Right.
Eagle claw hooks.
They're really sharp, strong hook to those.
Yeah.
So, am I right in thinking this is an homemade?
That is a homemade one, yes.
Yeah. And how long? I see you've dated it on top there, but how long would it take you to make something like that?
If I just sat down and made it from start to finish, it'd probably take about an hour and a half.
Right.
But I do them in batches, so I'll carve all the, because they're all made out, these ones are made out of beech.
Right.
I found some old doors in a skip, old
Right.
kitchen cupboard doors.
Right.
And I've made about 50 loads out of them so far.
Right, brilliant.
So
Any reason that you're using beech? I was just interested to know why you use that type of wood, or is that just what were around when you started to make them, or?
I use hardwoods because it's denser and it doesn't need as much lead to make it sink.
Yeah, and I've seen you cast these today, and you can cast them a fair old distance on small spinning gear, can't you? The decoration of it's superb, very fish-like. I mean, how long must it take you to do that, and how do you do that?
I use an airbrush.
Right.
And it takes about 20 minutes to paint that.
Right.
You have to just do it in layers.
Right.
But you start with your base layer, and then you go in and do, if you're going to do a pattern on it,
Right.
you do that. Then you spray over the pattern to put the head on and the fins.
Right.
And the last thing you do on it is shading, where you just go over it with black, just to give it the accent.
Right. Right. That's superb. Is there any name for that, or is it?
That's a glider. When you fish those, you reel them in with short jerks of the rod, and they glide from side to side.
Right. Right. Excellent. I think we tried a little bit of underwater footage with Andy's jigs a bit earlier. I'm just going to see if that's turned out okay. But yeah, I'll just put this one back for now. We'll maybe pull a different one out, and maybe Andy will tell us about that one as well. So I'll put that back in there nice and safely. This is another one that's I've taken out of the bucket. And when I tried a bit of lure fishing back in the 80s, these were called plugs in those days. I don't know whether Andy's going to tell us any different, but it certainly looks like one to me, Andy.
They're all plugs, really. They just have, there's different types of plugs.
Right.
Plugs are normally what we call crankbaits now, which have a lip at the front. So when you reel them in, they dive and wobble from side to side.
Right.
As you've noticed, none of the ones I've made have lips on. So I have to get the action into it, either with the weights, putting in different positions, or where I attach the line to it.
Right, right. Andy's really successful at lure fishing, so his advice is obviously, and his knowledge is superb. I've got this one in my hand, and it's obviously not a middle weight. I think it's quite weighted at the front, and I guess Andy's probably going to tell us that it maybe dives down at the front with action from the rod. And is this tail bit just an attractant on the back there,
Yes,
Andy?
that's how this one works. You reel it in. It's called a pull bait. So you pull it in jerks. You reel up to the lure and pull. And as you do that, it dives down in the water, wiggling from side to side with the tail flapping around,
Right.
attracting the pike.
Sounds very effective.
And then when on the pause, once you've done that, it'll start rising back up in the water.
Yep.
The tail fluttering again,
Yeah.
and you just keep doing that.
Brilliant, brilliant. Again, superb decoration, Andy. Is it same technique, airbrush sort of built up,
Yes.
layer after layer?
Yeah.
Taking you about an hour, 2 hours to make these, I suspect.
From start to finish,
Yeah.
probably, yes.
Yeah, brilliant. Is there any chance that anyone can buy these off you, Andy, or are they just sort of prototypes for yourself? I know.
If anybody wants to message in, I'm sure I can sort something out.
Right.
I don't make them commercially, I just
No.
make them for myself.
Yeah.
And if friends want them.
Right, brilliant. They're such an unusual, I mean, I don't think you'll ever see one of these again unless it's come from Andy, because obviously they're all made to his own specifications and ideas. Superb bit of kit. I'll just bob this one back and we'll pull one of these flies out. Now, you've been following us today, obviously pike fishing, and I find it unbelievable that you can actually catch a pike on a fly. But there's some amazing flies here. Looks like quite a lot of time's gone into them again. I wouldn't know where to start, so we'll just ask Andy where you start with something like this, and how effective is fly fishing for pike?
Very effective, if the conditions are right.
Right.
Each lure has its day. Some days you'll go with a lure and you'll catch 10 pike. Another day you'll catch nothing.
Right.
The biggest pike I've had on that particular fly is 15 pounds and 15 ounces.
Brilliant, brilliant. I mean, do you need a fly rod to fish with something like this?
If you notice on that, it's got a weight at the front.
Yeah.
And it's also, the head is also made out of epoxy, which gives it some weight.
Yeah, I can feel that, yeah.
So you can cast it from a light spinning rod.
Yeah, yeah. Did I see you fishing with one of these early? Just made a real soft touch on the water as you cast it out.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, white one.
Yeah, when I go fishing for pike, if I'm low fishing, I normally pull a few of those through the swim first, because they don't make any splash and they don't cause any disturbance.
Right, brilliant.
So if there's any pike that are not really up for it, it won't scare them away.
Right, there you go, that's another good tip. So it's a good idea to use a couple of different combinations, whether you're fly fishing, plug fishing, or the other big type that we looked at earlier. I think you called a skater lure, I'm sure. And how long would it take you to make one of these then, Andy?
About 20 minutes.
Brilliant. And where do you start? I mean, obviously, do you mould it around the hook, or?
Yeah, it's basically it's same as spraying. You build it up on the hook in layers, whipping it on the same way you tie a fly for trout or grayling.
Right, so it's obviously just a big version of a fly railing. It's amazing that you can catch. One day maybe we'll show you a catch actually, and a catching on one of these flies, just to show you that it's possible. So we'll just pop that one back for now. And I think really that's all I've got to ask Andy on those. He's got quite a few here, obviously loads and loads of time gone into it. And I did say to Andy earlier, because I'd be quite new to lure fishing, but I'd like to know what type of rod you'd need, what kind of line maybe on your reel, and what type of reel you're using. Have you got a couple of different options for lure fishing? Where would you start, Andy?
I'd start with a spinning rod, a cheap spinning rod. You can pick them up for 20, 25 quid.
Right.
And a reel.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, just a normal...
What, 7 foot or any specific...
What rod?
Rod, sorry. What size rod would you?
Most of mine are about 6'6".
Right. Right, and a little spool reel would be on there, or a centre pin, or a multiplier type reel?
Just use a standard fixed spool reel.
Right. For
that sort of thing.
Right.
You only really need the multipliers and the heavier rods when you start getting up to the much heavier baits.
Right, I see. Yeah, well, we talk about safety through these programmes, and would you still carry a big landing net around with you? What sort of terminal tackle? Obviously when you're spinning, there's a lot of opportunity to move around your pegs and move around the water. What type of other sort of equipment do you need if you're going out for a day's lure fishing?
All you need is a bag, a rod and a landing net.
Oh, so quite simple.
I'd recommend one of the landing nets with the rubber meshes.
All right.
Because they're a lot easier to get the hooks out of.
Right.
And as if you noticed, most lures have quite big hooks.
Yeah, yeah.
And you don't want to be spending half your day untangling them from your net or having to cut it out.
No. What about the tools that you use? Obviously a pair of forceps, for example.
I don't use forceps, I use just long nose pliers. You can get a much better grip, they're stronger.
Brilliant.
With having the bigger hooks, they have bigger barbs, so you really need the leverage to get them out.
Yep.
And a pair of cutters.
Side cutters.
Because sometimes you can have a fish that's quite deep hooked, and you're not going to get the hook out. So the easiest and best thing to do for the fish is to snip the end of the hook off.
Right.
And if you've got a good pair of these, quite long ones so you can get in, it's going to do the job. Yep,
great tip, Andy. Thanks for that. And that kind of sort of draws that section to a close. If you've got any questions maybe that we can't answer and you want to put some comments in, then by all means pop a comment on there and we'll get that across to Andy, and I'm sure Andy will give you a reasonable answer to any reasonable comments that you might have. So thanks for your time, Andy, showing us that little setup there and some wonderful equipment there that you've made, and thanks for the hints and tips. We've got it, we've got it.
Right, see if I can unhook.
Well, it's starting to get dark now, and that just about draws it to a close here at Wykeham Lakes near Scarborough. It's been a really good day. Didn't manage to get a fish out, but got really close. Just as I was landing it, I lost mine. I've had 2 runs after that. So yeah, my tactics have worked, so that's a good sign. It's just unfortunate I never landed out. But you'll see through the programme, basically there's been quite a few fish come out from the 6 anglers that were with us today. And yeah, there's that really nice 18.5 pounder. Remember that little bit of safety that we talked about? I'm sure you might rewind and just have another look at that. But it's always important maybe to take the correct tools with you. And I think that's about it. I haven't really got much else to say. It's been superb, another day fishing, another day out. And until next time, we'll catch you later on Last Cast. Well, they don't make potted meat like they used to.
Right, we've had 1 fish. Not many had them today, but Bushy's got one. Go see if I've got another one. Hey up, see you later.
Yeah, fishy, fishy. Yeah, fishy, fishy.